Alright guys, so this is kind of what I would call a stage one port job. What I did was took about 1 to 2 millimeters off the exhaust roof here, and that's going to bump up the power a little bit. This is going to wake this thing up, and like I say, on a lot of these cylinders, guys, there's always a little ridge up here on the exhaust roof. You stick your finger down on the top of the exhaust, there's always a little ridge in there to where it meets the casting. Just knock that ridge down on the exhaust roof, and you are going to wake this thing up. So we opened up, hogged out the transfers a little bit. Don't go crazy, guys. Don't go crazy. They designed these from factory to do what they're supposed to, but these transfers pretty much want to shoot out towards the back, away from the exhaust. They're doing a good job of that. We mainly just went in there, took out all the imperfections in the corners, and gave everything a real good rounded. That way, it'll get a real good air fuel flow rate, guys. I could have made this a lot more cleaner, but this was just kind of like a let's get this thing together. Another thing I did, guys. Where it met the transfers here, I lowered these just a little bit and flowed that in. They were a blunt. I'll post pictures all before, and they were blunt right there, so we should get a better flow coming up those lower transfers there. And then next, we're just going to try to take about 10 thousandths off the head to bump the compression up a little bit, guys. Since we did raise the exhaust roof 2 millimeter or so, 1.5 to 2 millimeter, I would guess. You will lower compression. The only way around that, guys, is just widen the exhaust a little bit. Just got to be careful, guys. Got to be very careful. Practice on something a lot cheaper, like chainsaws or whatever, guys. That's how I learn. I'm still no expert. I have a lot of learning to do. I didn't really mess with the intake too much. So we're gonna hope this does the trick. I got a few other little tweaks in mind for this project. All right, guys, we'll take a look here real quick. I just wanted to show you why I tore into this top end on this so fast. I knew the whole engine was done. I'm not big on these pistons. Every time I find them, I found them in other builds I've done for customers, and they end up on the bench up there. Guys, do not run these Chinese pistons. The skirts like to give away. The skirts like to break on these. So be very careful with that, guys. And I think these are like $80 or something like that to put one of these top ends in. Go with the name brand piston. I like Wiseco. I've also ran Vertex a lot in the past with great success. But anyhow, I thought I'd just show that. That's the main reason we dove in here before I get out and race this thing. I wanted, 1, a fresh top end, 2, to do a couple mods. I might mess with the ignition a little bit once we get this port job on there, but first things first, we're going to get it on, run the bike, make sure everything seems good. We're also going to pressure test this thing, make sure it's airtight, and then we'll look into maybe advancing the timing a little bit, maybe a few degrees, and see what it's like. That all depends. We're going to listen for detonation, and maybe advance it like 4 degrees or so. That's it, man. If you can tell, looks really good. Everything's good. I probably took around 10 thousandths off of it. Wasn't very hard to do. Took about a half hour just hammering down. Keep wetting it down. Allows the paper not to get clogged up. Doesn't take too much material at once. And yeah, so I think we're about ready to put this thing back together after some really precise, I shouldn't say precise, after some really methodical cleanup. I like to run a rag through the cylinder over and over again so there's no dirt whatsoever in there. I might just sand this combustion chamber up just a little bit more, smooth that out, and we're about ready to send it. So we shaved about 10 thousandths off. We raised the exhaust roof about 1.5 to 2 millimeters. hogged out the lower transfers, guys, know that they have right flow characteristics that need to stay. You don't want to flatten this out. That roundness is how the air likes to move in there, coming out of these transfers to put the air fuel up on top of that piston. So yeah, don't get carried away with those transfers, guys. I am going to get the gasket in, and I may have to attack this thing again because I'm going to try to port match it with you know, the cases together, which is going to be a little bit challenging, guys, trying to do that. But I know you can get Play-Doh. We're going to see how well it matches up when I get my gaskets in, and if it's close, I'm not going to do it, but which I'm hoping. But you know, if it's there's a big wall there from one transfer to the other, we're definitely going to grind away, guys, and because we're already here, so let's get optimum power while we're at it. All right, so someday somebody might chime in on here, but this was missing stopper pin, and I've done a little bit of reading on these, and a lot of guys like to make that custom dowel and make it a little bit wider, so it just sets that power valve just up ever so slightly, and that's supposed to make a big difference with the mid-range, I believe, guys, with this power and on how this power van turns on. So I may look for a rig up, or maybe even find a drill bit that I can cut down to fit in there and do that. I'm not sure what size. I just did some quick reading on it, and just because mere fact I was missing that pin, that's why I looked up on it, but it stops right where the pin would be anyway. So I think that's going to make a big difference in performance when doing the that stopper pin upgrade. All right, guys, it is parts day. We got our top end for this. Getting rid of the Chinese piston. Got our gasket kit. The exhaust coupler that was missing. Get that on there, and then the front pipe was leaking too. We got a Vertex spring and gasket kit there, and that's about it. So excited to get that on the bike, guys. Check your piston. That should say 5400 on the top, just to make sure they didn't put the wrong piston in there. I always like to confirm before I tear too into it. Yep, so got some new meats on the back for this thing. Woo! All right. Hey guys, what a mess I got going here, but I just like to confirm. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's the piston I got. Should be an OEM swap out. Our cylinder was already in spec. I checked it. Just have to check our ring gap, and I'll check out the piston to wall clearance. And I like pulling this off and just confirming. So right here, 5400. So that's how we know we got a 54 millimeter piston on these Wasco pistons. Look how pretty that is. All right, guys, real quick. I know a lot of people skip this. This is a 2-inch bore, 2.1, so basically 2 inches. So 4 thousandths per inch of bore. So 4 thousandths of an inch per 1 inch of bore. Example, the end gap, the end gap for a 3-inch bore would be 12 thousandths. So pretty easy, guys. So we're looking for a minimum of 8 thousandths here on this cylinder. That's a little shot with the power valves opened up, or closed up, and they are open. Alright guys, she is done, ready for the first start. It's definitely looking like rain, so we better get the show on the road. Fresh top end, China Piston, stock 4, and we ported her out. So this is going to be the first start, guys. See how she does. Run a couple heat cycles here. Alright, there's the first start. Starting to idle down here a little bit. First start, first heat cycle. Just barely got it warmed up there. We're going to check the antifreeze here and we'll fire it up again. Alright guys, first heat cycle complete. I had to swap the plug out. I think we found the plug on the first one, which makes sense. There's a lot of oil lubrication in this cylinder and it's burning off. It was running like a dog at first, but now the rings are all seating in and now it's really starting to wake up. So we're gonna let this cool down and we're gonna fire it back up and get another run. Alright guys, it's a success. Still got to tinker with that idle jet a little bit. Still, I think it's definitely a little lean. We're enriching it a little bit. It's starting to come down the idle faster, like it should. I'm going to fool with that tomorrow. It's been a long day on this, guys. But look forward to more videos to come with me getting out here, seeing how this thing runs, being ported with the new top end and all in it. I could tell already. I was hitting better power out there for sure. But until we can actually gear up, get out here and really rip. I do got some rear shock, A-arm, linkage pushing bearing kit coming in. I need to get there, some play in that. And I still got front wheel bearings put in the front. And then we should be really ready to play, guys. Guys, if you haven't already, give me a like, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, comment down below. Let me know what you guys want to see. We got some more updates to the MX track out here. We made one big, huge double here now. And I want to make the landing a little bigger, a little wider, so we can pull around with 1.5 whip, and it being kind of like a trick jump alongside of the track we have back on this property. But hey guys, thanks for watching Digging Deep. We'll see you next time.